So the big picture for this lesson is sampling. Now, the idea with an unbiased sample is you are getting equal representation of a population. So in other words, you aren't just asking a small localized group to represent the entire population. You're asking for representation from all parties concerned, and that way your data will be accurate. Now there are three different unbiased samples in this lesson, and one is simple random, and one is stratified random, and one is systematic random. So simple random, that just means everyone from a population is equally likely to be chosen. So you just randomly choose 100 names from a hat or something like that. Stratified random, you divide the population into smaller non-overlapping groups, and then you do a simple random from each subgroup. And then a systematic random, people are selected over a specific item interval, like every fifth person is chosen on a list or something like that. Okay, so what you can do is you can use sampling to make predictions. Let's say you're surveying what people's favorite sandwiches are. Let's say you're going with a sub sandwich and a club sandwich. And let's say you're going to go with a Cuban sandwich. So the sub sandwich is preferred by 42% of the people, club sandwich by 9% of the people, and the Cuban sandwich by 49% of the people. Okay, now let's say your population that you were surveying was 5,000 people. So how many people preferred the Cuban sandwich? Well, you could estimate, since 49% is almost 50%, and you could say 2,500, but if you want to know the exact number, you have to do a percentage. X over 5,000 equals 49 to 100. Cross multiply 100, X equals 5,000 times 49 divided by 100. So X equals 2,450 people. So that's how many people out of that population preferred the Cuban sandwich. Now, biased sampling means that you're not getting a fair sample. In other words, let's say all these dots represent a certain population, meaning that each dot may represent a person. Well, if I wanted to do a survey to get some opinions, I would not want to just pick a group like this all in one spot. That's a convenient sample. Let's say these people all live in a certain apartment building or something like that. Well, what I want to do is I want to pick random, because if you get a cluster of people, that doesn't necessarily represent the entire group, because that cluster may all have a similar opinion. What you want to do is randomly pick people from the entire population and then ask them. Okay, so this would be an example of a more fair survey or unbiased survey. So what you don't want to do is convenience. That is biased. And the reason being is that's a group that's easily accessed but may not represent the entire group. And another type of bias survey is voluntary response. And that means you're only asking people that want to answer. Typically, you don't get reliable data this way either. Think of a store that has a customer satisfaction survey that you may fill out if you want to. Well, generally that's fine, but the people that fill out those surveys when they want to generally have a bad experience, because people really like to report bad experiences more than good. So out of your whole population, you may think that there are a lot more bad experiences because you don't hear about the good ones. So the voluntary response is a bias survey also. So those are two types of bias surveys. And remember, to have an unbiased survey, you want to do a random sample of the population.